could be Harvard Downing Street arriving to give moral support. Or it could be the army brass arriving, or the police.
What do they do?
Behold, this arena will be built for war.
As master of the games, man can devise entertainment that they really want.
Let the games begin!
I've ordered animals and gladiators from every corner of the Empire.
My children have been taken from me. Show them you can fight or die trying.
I will face him on the track, and I will defeat him.
Betting everything on one race is risky.
It's all for nothing.
We who are about to die salute you!
We all need different things.
Wealth, position, power.
And the excitement of revenge.
Curse these Romans. Make them suffer!
It is that time.
We need to excite them. We need to thrill them. Enough is good. More is better. Too much is perfect.
Pity we can't kill them all.
Yeah, and that show's out now
Yes,
on
it is.
Amazon. Welcome to the Nielsen Ratings. We're going to get into it. Thanks very much for joining us on this Tuesday evening, just after 10 o'clock. I've got my usual panel of retrobates from the United States of US of A, where they're looking forward to welcoming their new president, Kamala Harris. We've got a Blue Collar Loser and Spencer Licious from the Northern Wastes up north in England. We have Northern Bastard.
Hello.
And then we also, from down south, have the Inside Man.
Hello. Sure.
And I'm surprised Northern Bastard is here, because I just received this news report only moments ago. So, but good, yeah. Who has seen For Those About to Die? Because that's what we're going to talk about first.
Well, I just watched episode 1 and 2 with my kid after we watched The Sandlot, and I'll tell you one thing, Lance. For Peacock, I am extremely impressed with the production design. Whoa.
Yeah, can you tell me another show that any of us might have seen from Peacock, apart from a documentary on Peacock?
Love Island.
I did watch
Love Island.
I did like Twisted Metal, actually. I thought Twisted Metal was fun. But even that, it still was cheesy, video game kind of fun.
Have they done any other drama shows, which is very much the focus of this channel? Good to see Adam.
Not that I can think of.
So they haven't produced like a sort of a drama show, regardless of the time period in which it's set, that everybody's been raving about before. The Peacock.
You're not talking about Spartacus, are you?
I don't know. I'm asking.
I don't know. I thought you were hinting at us for a minute.
Spartacus was produced by Stars, so no, I'm not.
Yeah.
For Australian television.
Yeah, I mean, they have the Purge TV shows on there. They did get Yellowstone, the rights to that, but that wasn't their show. But Yellowstone's on there.
Well, this one is this is like, I think this is the biggest thing that they've produced.
Definitely.
To date, right?
Yeah, it has to be. I'll look it up, the production.
Yeah, I'm just having a quick Michael Google now. Peacock streaming service, Wikipedia. Let's have a quick look, because we know Wikipedia is always factually correct. So primarily a distribution company, yada, yada, yada. Content, yada, yada, yada. Blue collar band from streaming service for wanking incident. What's that?
The first time.
NBC announced its long-running soap opera Days of Our Lives would move exclusively to Peacock Premium. Oh, that must be the result.
Wow, Lance. Did you know? Could you imagine the budget?
Ted.
That's right. Yeah, Ted. Yep, that was right.
Third-party content. Yeah, so actually they do carriage a lot of Stars, which I think is a subsidiary company. So it could be that they did previously screen Spartacus, although it was available on Amazon. Original programming. Here we go. List of original programming. They have produced Brave New World, science fiction.
Okay.
Dr. Death, true crime drama. Was that? Hang on. Is that about? Yeah. That's the thing with Christian Slater. That's actually a really good miniseries. That's really good. And Christian Slater is pretty hardcore in that. Bel Air, Queer as Folk.
Yeah, they did Bel Air. That was the Fresh Prince serious version remake. That, oh my god.
Here you go. I'll tell you what they produced. They produced The Continental from the world of John Wick. That was a pretty good show.
I thought that was Amazon that did that.
No, it's theirs.
I've been hearing otherwise. I've been hearing it's not good. I don't know, but I don't like Mel Gibson. I need to give it a go.
I've heard mixed.
The Continental's all right. It's not amazing, but it's okay. It's pretty good. It's it's. I mean, in terms of 1 out of 10, Acolyte being -3, I'd say it sort of comes in the 5 to 6 rating.
I forgot because it was so quick. Poker Face was actually a really good show. It's got good reviews too.
Yeah, so they've done a small amount of serious drama, a huge number of short comedies like Poker Face, Mrs. Davis, Twisted Metal, Ted, Killing It, Rutherford Falls, whatever that is, Saved by the Bell.
The new one, that's right. Yeah,
I've done one animation show. And then also a show called Cleopatra in Space. I don't know what that's about, but I need to see it. Stupenzo says his little brother looks like Christian Slater. Can you provide photographic evidence?
Yeah, later.
Okay, cool. All right. So who watched it? So you've seen 2 episodes. Inside Man, have you seen anything of it?
I don't think he's with us still.
He is. He's here. He's there. He's on the screen. Okay, he's maybe not. Maybe he's having audio issues again. Okay, Stupenzo, did you catch any of it?
Did not. First time ever hearing of this show.
Okay, so in other words, you've just seen the trailer we've just shown.
Yeah.
Northern, it's mandatory for anyone north of the wall to watch Roman stuff.
True.
Yeah, so clearly you've binged it. You've seen it all.
Oh, I haven't binged it. I hadn't had a chance. I did watch the first episode just now, and it's funny, but I just kind of felt like they were rushing by every single character, not giving me a chance to know most of them.
Yeah,
I hope it gets better anyway. I think it might get better. It's just I just felt a bit like they were trying to unload so much information on me in such a short amount of time.
Well, there's a lot of information episode 1, dude.
Yeah.
Well, this show's a bit of an odd one. Then I'm the only person then clearly who's seen all 10 episodes. I finished.
10.
I stayed up till episode 6 last night. Well,
Nice.
when I say last night, I finished episode 6 about 6 o'clock this morning. And then I watched the remaining 4 today. I had them on in the background while I was working because it's that kind of show. Okay, let's talk about the positives. All right, the positives, apart from it's set in Rome and it's historical, which is always, that's 2 pluses right off the bat. Casting is very
just
good.
out of curiosity.
Definitely.
Oh, he is here. Fucking hell.
What's the time? Yeah, my audio went. Yeah, my
Right.
audio went. And
Of
what's
course
the
it did.
actual time? What's the time on this? What's the the period of the Roman Empire in this?
It's set in the the Roman emperor that had like 2 sons, and then those sons brought Rome to ruin. It's towards the end.
Vespasian.
I
Yeah, it was
believe.
Vespasian Vespasian commissioned the Colosseum.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
and he had
that's absolutely
2 sons.
That's part of the story, the commissioning of the Colosseum. Yeah.
Domitian and Titus.
Yeah, Titus and Demetrius,
Domitian.
I think. Yeah,
Domitian, yeah.
But and of course they may have fictionalized some bits. Okay, so I'll talk about the positives first of all. The positives are the casting is almost universally good. Ewan Rion gets lead billing.
I think he might be the best one. I've only seen 1 episode, but he might be the best one in it.
So this actor first appeared in Dexter Fletcher's directing debut, Wild Bill, and if you watch that movie, Ewan is in a scene right at the end, which takes place in a punch up in a pub, and you'll see a whole load of people come in, and Ewan and Dickon, who co-founded the Outcasts, are coming in together as part of the gang, and they look like brothers. I mean, Dickon looks very similar to Ewan. And I said to Sharon, as soon as I'd seen this film, my casting director, who's that guy that looks like Dickon? He's got a really good face. And we got his name, and he'd done almost nothing then. I think he'd just done something called The Fades, which is a TV show.
I know it. Yeah.
Most people haven't seen it, and I said straight away I wanted him for one of the main glider pilots in Pegasus Bridge. So it's so nuts that had the film gone ahead when we had planned it, top of the cast list were him and Barry Keogh, who of course is A-list now. And I could list other actors as well, two others of which were in Dunkirk. But yeah, I clocked this guy straight away and went, wow, he's got presence. And I like spotting actors like that. Anthony Hopkins is not in this very much. So clearly he is the star power to give the show some class. He's fine in the scenes he's in. There's some flashback scenes with him. I wish there'd been more of them. He kind of, he shuffles off his mortal coil a bit quick. But the casting is good. It's a very, very strong cast. The ethnic cast, the people that the actors that play people from different tribes and different cultures and things like that, are particularly good. Sometimes when you have an international cast with people where English isn't their first language, maybe stuff like that. Sometimes you think maybe there's some weaker actors in that bunch. Not so here. The casting is very, very good. This was all shot in Cinecittà in Rome, so they used all the Roman sets. They beefed up their Colosseum set, especially for this production. And this is actually their Colosseum set in this shot. So there's lots to look at that's quite impressive in terms of visuals, the costume design, all of that stuff is all pretty accurate and bang on. This actor people will be divided over, but on the whole I quite like him because you're supposed to find him annoying and hate him, so he fits the bill. But she's particularly good. Sarah Martin, I think her name is. But the problem first and foremost with this production is the script. The script is okay, and that's all it is. It's just okay. And I just feel like this is based on a book or a series of books by a particular writer.
Right, okay.
I don't think that. I think that writer was. I'm going to just double check on the credits because I don't want to be wrong about this. But I think that they either wrote most of the scripts or they oversaw the writing team. And just because you can write an amazing novel doesn't mean that you can write an amazing screenplay. I mean, obviously that does apply to me, but Yeah, Daniel P. Mannix, inspired by the
No, I
book
don't know.
Those About to Die, 10 episodes. So,
Oh my God! Yeah, yeah, I know the book.
right.
Very famous,
So,
very famous book.
yeah. So, you've got the show's created by Robert Rodat. He wrote 5 episodes.
Right. Okay.
Alex Carmendale wrote 1. Eva Gonzalez Sigrist wrote 1. Charles Holland wrote 1. Marissa Lestrade wrote 1. And Jill Roby wrote 1. So I'm guessing this is the writing team.
Yeah.
Robert Rodat is the lead writer.
Yeah.
And that's your writing team. Now, Robert Rodat is a very experienced writer. He wrote the script for The Patriot, the Mel Gibson American War of Independence film, which is actually a pretty decent script. He also wrote the script for Kursk. He wrote 52 episodes of Falling Skies. He was also the main writer on Saving Private Ryan and Fly Away Home. So, I mean, this is a caliber guy who created this show. What's missing for me in it is, if you watch Spartacus, and we'll be talking about it on Sunday, what they've done with that is they've changed the inflections of the dialogue so that it doesn't sound too modern. The sentences are shorter. People talk in colloquialisms. There's lots of euphemisms used literally in dialogue to just make the language seem old. And that really works. Here, they kind of do that a bit. They're not all in. And, you know, half in, half out doesn't really work. I also just think the characters are they're all a bit bland. They're all a bit like signposted. This is your guy who's, you know, a bit like Arthur Daly. Basically, Ewan Rion is Arthur Daly from Minder in this show. I mean, that's a funny analogy, but it's bang on the money. So
I thought Arthur Daly was nice compared to him.
Well, Arthur Daly has a moral compass, but it's firmly broken. I mean, he basically arranges all the bets. He's constantly scheming, looking at ways to make money, and he organises the bettings on all the chariot races. It primarily revolves around the chariot races. The chariot races are very well visualized, but they vary from kind of, wow, that shot looks amazing, to, oh yeah, that's very CGI. And
yeah, I was thinking exactly the same thing, because you can really see the green screen a lot. It is very noticeable. And when you go back to the 1950s with Ben Hur, and you're seeing real people actually risking their own safety just to make this amazing action scene work, then it just fails in comparison. It really does compared to.
Yeah, there are some shots which are absolute dog doo-doo in terms of it. It looks so fake. It takes you right
It did
out.
take me out a little bit. It did, and I really don't want to like this show as well. I don't hate it. I will try and give it a chance, but
no, indeed, it's a show. Listen, I'm trying to be balanced here, and I'm going to say it's a show with a lot of merit. There is a lot about it that's good. It's clearly like people have gone all out, and like I say, the casting is good. Tom Hughes, very good. Jojo Macari, who's relatively new, very good. Sarah Martins is fantastic in it. Dimitri Leonidas as Scorpus, who's kind of like the boastful chariot racer, is very, very good. Rupert Penry Jones, you know, very established British actor, really great. Then you've got some other actors from around the world, some that I'm not familiar with. There wasn't one actor. Yes, actually, there was. There was one actor who I went, he's a bit shit. But apart from that, everybody else was good. Everybody else, it was like, yeah, this is blended well. The performances all seem, everyone's hitting a similar level of standard. There was one guy, and you'll know when you watch it, and in particular, he's got a scene, I think, in episode 7, where his dialogue just sounds so off kilter that you're like, what's going on? Not this actor, but there's also a friend of mine in it, who's agreed to come on the show and talk about it. Adrian Boucher, who was in the Predator fan film. That's how I know him, because I was at the premiere of that. He plays the sort of head captain, Praetorian Guard to the Emperor of Rome. So he was on set pretty much throughout the entire production. And I did invite him to come on tonight, but he's under a 2-month media ban. He can't talk for at least 2 months. So he'll come on the show after that. He's good in it as well. Adrian's good in it. I'm glad to see him getting a pretty decent role. I could fish through this cast and find the guy that stuck out like a sore thumb, who was terrible, but I'm not going to do that.
Just out of curiosity, who were the directors on this? I'm assuming it was multiple directors.
Right, so you've got Roland Emmerich of Independence Day doing 5X.
Wow. Right, okay.
And I can completely understand why he was brought in, because he's experienced at doing big crowd scenes, which you have. Have a lot of scenes with big numbers. And then you also have big scenes with massive combinations of complicated visual effects. So, you know, foreground stuff, background stuff, lots of plate shots, lots of CGI combined with human elements, green screen, real location sets, and so forth. The problem with the CG in this show is that it's. I mean, if you go to Rome on a holiday, you can go to this. Every city's got one in Europe. Like, come and see the true story of, you know, the history of Rome 3D experience, and you pay like €15 and you go and sit in one of those 3D theaters with some goggles on, and it takes you through the history of Rome, and it was a lot of fun. But the CG that showed you the city, I swear to you, some of the shots from that tourist video are in this film. Seemed like exactly the same shots to me. Or maybe they're done by the same animation team, which is highly likely, because these would be people working out of Cinecittà probably. And the CG in it is perfectly adequate, but very CG. So what you're doing is you're taking the wonderful physical sets that you have at Cinecittà, and then you're heavily layering those with CG on top of them to expand them, so that the entire sets look like CG, and you're kind of losing the beautiful reality of the amazing sets that they've built, because everything looks fake. Whereas some
would you say that it looks, the look of it kind of seems slightly unfinished, maybe like it's been perhaps rushed out or something like that?
I don't know. No, I don't think it's not so much that it's unfinished. I think it's just got that very computer graphic-y look. I think, you know, Peacock clearly had a limited budget to do the visuals of the city of Rome. And you remember the CG shots that we got in Gladiator of the city of Rome.
Yeah,
they're not that much better than those. And Gladiator, I think, 2001?
2000.
Right. So we're in 2024, and I think probably somebody in a production meeting said, you know what, if it looks as good as Gladiator, people will be fine with it. And I think I probably would have. It's okay. It's fine. It serves its purpose. But I think I would have overlooked it. The sort of infancy of the CG work, if the script had been shit hot. The script is average. The actors make the script good, because you've got good actors making the most of what they've got, and they really do try hard. So that's what makes it work. So credit to the cast, because the cast really do go out of their way to bring this to life. First, Luke, what did you think of the first?
Sorry, mate. It was all right in places. Like I said, they really throw a lot of characters in there, and you don't really get a chance to know them fully properly. But the actors are still very good. I mean, you can really tell they are acting their asses off. It's just, there's a lot of scenes where you know it's green screen, and it just takes it out. It just takes you out of it a little bit. And I probably might read the books. If the books are real famous, they probably might be better. But
yeah,
I will still give the series a go.
Look, the issue with CG now, right? And it's a big issue. I mean, it's a huge issue with CG. Why we are taken out of so many movies at the moment because of maybe slightly under-rendered or not unfinished CG, or just CG that's not done too well. The big
Or
issue is
sometimes the
this.
lighting's off as well because
Yeah.
it doesn't match the scenery that's behind them. It's one of those things. Yeah.
But the issue is this. We've all got HD TVs now, so we're watching something in HD. I don't know what what screens they use to render this kind of CG in, to actually do this CG in. But when you've got an HD TV, you're watching something on an HD TV, it's really going to show. So, and it's a huge issue with CG at the moment. And this is why practical effects, practical sets, practical miniatures are gradually coming back in. It's because of the shit CG. Well, no, it's not shit CG. It's the fact that we can identify it as CG now, and that's the problem. I don't like watching a film or TV show where I go, yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's really, really good CG. I really enjoyed that CGI on that scene. I don't want to be looking at that. I don't want to be distracted by the CGI.
You'd rather not be commenting on it at all.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
really, because it takes you out of it.
I mean, the thing is, even before the HD, I mean, our eyes naturally trained themselves to notice the CGI the more we started seeing it.
Yeah.
Does anybody else ever judge people when do you ever judge someone when you go to their house and realize they don't have the motion smoothing off on their TV?
Oh yeah.
You're like, why do you have that on? Yeah. You don't understand that's like an issue.
I'm not aware if I have that on or off, but Enzo, when you come and visit me in London, I'm sure that'll be the first thing you'll check.
Yeah, I'll be like, what the hell's going on with your TV?
Owen Howard, who I haven't seen comment in the chat before, so Owen, you're very welcome to the channel and thank you for commenting. Series Rome, and I've got it on DVD, did a great job of alluding to Rome being a very populated place without any expansive shots. Wish it got more than 2 series. It deserved more. This sounds like a modern scriptwriter issue. So this is actually the set of the TV series Rome. They kept it in Cinecittà. It's been used in several shows since. It's been used in Doctor Who. I think it was a Tennant or Matt Smith episode where they went back to Rome. I forget, because mainly I just don't watch Doctor Who anymore. But this is the amphitheater from all of For Those About to Die. So all those scenes that you see set in the Colosseum are all shot in here. All the street scenes that you see are all shot either here or here, and the large courtyard sort of main esplanade of Rome are shot here. And I mean, when you're standing in this, and I've got a photo of me standing in this courtyard, it looks amazing. I mean, honestly, it looks incredible. You can actually, on this building here, there's a whole passageway under here, so you can walk under here where the columns are. And these buildings are at slightly different heights. And then behind them, there's a whole load of fake facades as well. So it looks like there's more buildings on the hillside behind these. It's a very incredible set. And it's just, this set is like oversaturated with CG in like every shot in this show, which is a shame because this set's amazing. I get why, because the set's been used in a few shows already. So they're kind of trying to make it look different. And the CGI backgrounds are sort of trying to make it look different. But, this is the days of the internet, guys. We can check to see where stuff was filmed, So, yeah, it is a shame. This is an amazing set in Cinecittà, and they do tours around it. So if you're ever in Rome, there's I think there's about 8 tours a week. Some of them are in Italian, but yeah, I would book it. And this is part of their backlot here, and you can see there's a modern American street here. And then there's another set here. I don't know what show this is for. This might also be for Those About to Die, because the set foundations don't look modern, but I can't really tell at this angle. So but there you go. So,
incidentally, the book, this particular book, Those About to Die, this was the book upon which the movie Gladiator was based, or rather, this was the book that inspired Gladiator. It was the producer.
Is that inspired Gladiator without the requirement of paying for rights?
No, it was more a case of the producer was actually on a backpacking tour, and I think he said he was in Australia or something, and he swapped a book that he had with some other guy, and the book that he swapped it for was Those About to Die. And I think he said that he was about 21, and he said, well, one day I'm going to make a Roman epic, and it always stuck with him. So this was the book that stuck with him. And as soon as the opportunity arose, this was, Gladiator was the result. But it's a shame that, it visually, maybe it's not as spectacular as it could have been.
I mean, it is in a way. It's just that if you kind of once you've seen the first couple of shots, if you sort of go with, okay, I'm going to see a lot of CGI. The CGI kind of works, but I know it's CGI. It's very CGI. If you kind of let that go early on, there's quite a lot to enjoy in this film. The chariot races are very effective. The actors work very hard to make the characters interesting. The dialogue works in the opposite direction to do exactly the reverse. But there is a lot about this show to praise it for. Unfortunately, you've got sort of an equal number of things that let it down. I give it a sort of a kind of above average 6 out of 10. Let's get some really good character narrative in for season 2 if season 2 is going to happen. I'd quite happily watch a second season of this. You can turn your brain off and it's engaging. If you're looking for that kind of delicious dialogue that you get in Spartacus, you're not going to get it here, sadly. But it's not awful. It's okay.
I think you can let the CG off a little bit here, since if it is on a low budget, because at least they have an excuse, unlike Marvel, where they just throw a shitload of money down the drain, and the CGI is still terrible.
Low budget for me is under $1 million. Okay, this show didn't cost £1 million. I don't know, but it's not big budget. It's probably a tight budget for television.
Well, Lance, I looked at the budget on this. They said reportedly Peacock spent $140 million.
I can believe it.
On the whole show? That's fine. That's not bad.
So
you have to understand it's like 10 hours long at least, right?
Yeah, and the episodes are 45 to 55 minutes.
About $14 million per episode.
I think that's too much, but
that is like 5 movies right there,
Yeah. I think they could have done more with that money. Personally, I would have liked to have seen. I would like to have seen some more good combat scenes outside of the arena, and the plot certainly leaned into having those. But what we got was always very, very quick.
These characters, Vespasian, Domitian, and Titus, that whole story, it's an amazing story, an amazing piece of history.
It's if they're sticking close to it, from what I learn from season 1, it's it's pretty grim. It's like lots of backstabbing and killing, and but great drama. So
and it's because of Domitian, in particular, that basically renders any historical accuracy in Gladiator 2 completely useless, because under Domitian, who's a 1st century emperor, he actually had, when Titus died, he actually excavated the floor of the Colosseum, and he dug down in order to put the catacombs and all of the mechanics and all of the ramps and everything to bring the scenery up and to bring animals up from below the Colosseum,
right?
So they could no longer flood it. But of course, Gladiator 2 is set well after. That's actually in the late 2nd century AD or BCE. So it's over 100 years after Domitian had already cleared the underneath of the Colosseum. So
right,
and of course in Gladiator 2 they flood the Colosseum, which they
well,
absolutely could not have done.
well, in this show they also flood the Colosseum, and I feel like
Yeah,
they did that just to get ahead of Gladiator 2.
they probably
Jojo
did.
Macari, who plays Domitian, here he is. I mean, if you're going to cast a kid who's going to play a spoiled Roman emperor, this kid's face says that to me. He is pretty good in it. He does the role justice. Ewan Rion's great, but I feel his character is a bit of a blank canvas, that the dialogue didn't give him enough to play with. He really makes the most of it, but God, they give him a hard job. His dialogue could have been so much better. But yeah, 6 out of 10, 6.5 maybe. Does anyone want to say anything else about it before we move on?
No, let's just hope it gets better. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, talk to me next week when you've had a chance to see the whole thing, and we'll bring it up again. Enzo.
Yeah.
I know you're drifting off and dreaming of Mexican food. So tell us what you've seen. What do you want to recommend?
Well, I watched a fun little comedy called Thelma with Mom. And it's basically The Beekeeper, but instead of Jason Statham killing a bunch of dudes, it's the old lady gets scammed out of $10,000, and then she steals a moped from Richard Roundtree and goes out to find her money. Yeah,
I'm sold already. This sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was actually pretty funny too.
What's it called?
Thelma. And it's
Thelma.
it's the old lady who plays Mrs. Schmidt in About Schmidt. She's also the babysitter in the new Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead remake from BET.
Did you say, is it Delma with a D or Thelma TH?
Oh, Thelma like Thelma and Louise.
Oh, sorry,
No
because that's of course going to get confused with that crappy TV show that we got.
Thelma?
In the Scooby-Doo thing.
Oh, right. Okay. Velma.
Yeah,
Velma.
No. Right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Thelma was fun. Yeah, we liked it. And it's one of those movies. I assume a newcomer filmmaker. It's one of those movies that some of these straight to streaming movies are not good. This movie apparently had a theatrical run, I think. But this movie feels like
it's got Malcolm McDowell in it.
Yeah, he's amazing. he's amazing.
Oh, I am so watching it. Richard Roundtree.
I have to see this.
It was a fun little movie. Probably the whole family could watch it. It wasn't too bombastic or crazy, but it had some heart, had some laughs, and it was a nice little simple story. There are some plot holes, here and there, but I mean, whatever. You see past that. But yeah, it was fun. This lady gets a phone call from her grandson saying, "Oh my God, I hit a pregnant lady with my car. I'm in jail." And then some bail bondsman's going to call you. And the bail bondsman calls and is like, "Yeah, I need you to mail $10,000 cash to this PO box." And she does it. And then they find out like the grandson's fine. And it was fun because the movie's basically about, you've got Thelma who's elderly and, got all these ailments. And, all of her friends are dying. You got that kind of side. And then you've also got the grandson who they focus on heavily. And he's kind of like a man baby. Nothing really going on with his life. No discernible talents or goals or anything. And they kind of have to work together and solve this mystery. And also Agent Coulson is his dad. And the mother is, who does it say there on the cast? Someone famous, some famous lady is the mom. I can't remember right now, but they're great. The parents are awesome.
Well, I think June Squibb is the elderly lady, and she's been in absolutely loads of stuff.
Yeah, she's great. There was a little ad I saw on social media, and that's how I found out about the movie. And it was basically June Squibb like reading lines from famous action movies. It was funny.
Need to see that.
Yeah, it was good. I liked it. I'd recommend it. Solid 7 out of 10. Yeah.
Well, I feel like this is a film I want to promote.
Oh, and Parker Posey's the mother. That's who it was. Yeah.
Yeah,
she's
Parker.
great.
But I like Parker Posey. She's great. She was in
Yeah.
Empire Records, right?
Yeah, her and Clark Gregg.
Best in the show as well. Don't forget that. That was a good one.
She's awesome in that one. Yeah, her and
Best in show. Yeah.
Agent Coulson are the parents, and they're very funny. Yeah, Dad is like a very straight and narrow kind of guy. You know, straight edge kind of. You know, play it by the books. Don't break any laws. Buckle your seatbelts kind of guy. It's fun. And yeah, Richard Roundtree is fantastic too in this movie too, because it's like Thelma tries to steal his fancy new scooter he bought because he lives in a retirement home, and he catches up with her and goes along with her for this adventure. They're gonna go track down this PO box and try to find the money. It's funny.
So yeah, you said you give it 7 out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think probably I think this might be Richard Roundtree's last movie. He died, right?
Yeah.
Not that long ago, I think. So yeah, I definitely want to see this. We've got to talk. I feel like we should do a chew the fat on this. This who directed it? Whose baby is this movie?
Let's see. Some guy with a
just that still alone says I need to watch this film.
It is directed by Joseph Margolin, and he seemed to have done something called The Browsing Effect, My Boyfriend is a Robot, Deep Murder. I don't know, a bunch of stuff I've never heard of. Maybe shorts. Yeah, I don't know. Promising career. I think he filmed an episode of New Girl. Yeah, he's got some credits on him. Oh, he's only directed 2 movies. No, this is his first movie he's directed. I see. He's acted in some stuff. Oh,
Right.
okay. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, it was fun. So yeah, this is his big debut, feature-length debut. And I want to say he wrote it. Right? Did he? Yeah, he wrote it. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I've seen this lady in quite a few things.
Yeah,
I feel like
June
she's
Squibb.
she's done a lot of guest spots on shows like ER and that kind of stuff. She's clearly, I mean, you know, what a great swan song role.
Yeah, she's great as I love About Schmidt. That's one of my favorite movies, and she's Jack Nicholson's wife.
Right.
The beginning half of the movie.
This could be about Schmidt too. This time it's female.
Right.
Effectively.
If Schmidt had died instead of the wife. Yeah, there you go.
Let's have a quick
on
look.
a fucking rampage.
June Squibb is still going. And yeah, 101 credits. Okay, she does nostalgia on Inside Out 2, The Voice. That's cool.
She is in the show Velma too, which is funny.
Yeah. Who knew?
She
Toy
does
Story
the voice
4.
of older woman.
So, I mean, a lot of her work of recent years has been voiceover. I do remember her on Modern Family because I saw all the episodes of that. But I feel like I've seen her in stuff in her younger. Curb Your Enthusiasm. Yeah, I remember her in that as Mrs. Cone. She was in Meet Joe Black, which actually is a film I watched recently. Told you she did an episode of ER.
Yeah.
I knew I'd seen her in ER.
She's in Sense of a Woman as well. Which one is
In
she?
and Out. She's Mrs.
Oh, Mrs. Huntsacker in Scent of a Woman at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know
Wow.
exactly who she is in that. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Oh, well, good for you, June Squibb. Bag that lead role because she's been a character actor most of her life. Bag that lead role in your 70s.
Yeah, I
right?
talked in great length about her in or that Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead remake. She's the babysitter. She was all right. She has a short screen time in that one naturally because of the title would suggest.
Yes, indeed. Good shout, Stupenzo. That's a great recommendation for the channel. Did anyone else see that movie?
No, not yet, but I will.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's definitely on my list. I need to check that out.
I always like to recommend.
these
I always like.
unconventional movies.
I always like to recommend the deep cuts on this show. You know.
No, that's That's all good. I've got a deep cut coming up in a minute.
Well, you've not filled me with Perfect Blue, Paprika, and Leroy, Texas. So, yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I think Gordo actually recommended that one to us. I recommend Paris, Texas to everybody, and Gordo is the only one who's seen it so far.
I will get around to watch this when it comes. There's still laws.
But the Nielsen ratings wouldn't be the Nielsen ratings without the Inside Man recommending some 1970s movie with women wearing incredibly inappropriate clothing. What do you have?
Yeah.
What do you have for us this week?
Well,
it's funny
enough,
you should say that.
Funny enough, it's a film from 1974. And
how did I know? I don't know how I predict these things.
However, this film has an all-male cast,
right?
And it's a movie. And I after last week, I sort of wanted to prove to myself that that also not everything in the 1970s was, really, a whiz banger. So, and that nostalgia can really taint your view and your opinion and everything. So I thought what I'd do, I'd go back to a 1974 film, which as a kid, this was a particular favorite of mine. So I saw this in 1975, and that was the last time I saw it in 75.
Go for it. What is it?
It's a movie called Killdozer.
Oh, I've seen it.
Hell yeah.
And and obviously it starts off, there's this strange kind of blob heading to Earth, and a group of construction guys, small unit of construction guys, that are clearing an old air base, and they come across a rock that just won't shift. So the boss man decides that he's going to get in the bulldozer and give it a good old ram. And as he does so, some alien entity, some blue alien entity manages to leap from the rock into the bucket of the bulldozer and possess the bulldozer. As it does so, the guy that's observing it, he gets all sort of burnt, and he basically dies. And of course the bulldozer just is possessed by this alien entity and drives around the island, killing all of the construction guys on its own.
Yeah, from that point onwards, it basically is the movie Christine, except with a bulldozer instead of a Plymouth Fury.
Yeah, it's the first. I think it's the first possessed vehicle movie that there was. The only one after that was the car.
I was going to say the car. I thought the car was before this. No,
that was 1977. I'm going to say 76, 77.
When did Spielberg's Duel come out?
That was you probably about 73, 74, maybe.
I mean, you could argue that technically
73
would be the first kind of, because there's no driver in the cab at the end, isn't it?
Well, there is actually a driver, because you see him get out, you see his boots underneath.
But at the end, there is no driver. You're right. The car was 77 with James Brolin. I actually watched the car recently.
It's a good film.
The bit with the two cyclists getting taken off on the bridge at the beginning.
Fucking hilarious. I mean,
hilarious and gruesome at the same time.
I watched this. I actually saw that upon its release, which does show my age. But I saw that upon its release at the drive-in movie theater, and I made my parents take me back another 2 times. That and Black Christmas. My parents took me to see at the drive-in movie theater 3 times.
You've got understanding parents inside, man.
They exposed me to all kinds of gore and viciousness. So not physically, obviously, but
although that could explain quite a lot. But yeah,
but yeah, Killdozer. It's okay, but it's just it's a bonkers movie.
Professor R2 says he seems to remember watching this movie with a bunch of weirdos. Is there any other kind of people you should watch Killdozer with? I think the answer
absolutely
is
not. Yeah,
you got Tomby in the chat. R.I.P. Shaft from Atom Gray. Aaron Charman said he's talking about the previous movie we were talking about. He'd seen it. That's a good. Jewel was 71. I mean, okay, yeah, there is. You do see the driver, but at the end, the whole suggestion is the driver's not in the cab. What's you know?
That was Duel was 71.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched that again
Duel.
recently, and that's I mean, it's such a modern looking film. It's
such
fantastic.
a good movie. So,
It's very
I mean,
simple as well.
Beautiful
Just
film.
just a crazy trucker chasing the guy, and that's it. And
Yeah.
it's really good. It's like it's one
Beautiful
of the
film.
best films about a chase. Basically, it's just a chase. That's it. But it's still great.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good. It's always been a good film.
And boy, does Dennis Weaver sell that. Does he sell
He
the terror
does.
in that? He really does.
Yeah, I saw that movie the first time it was screened on British TV actually, because I think I can't remember if it was like Channel 4 that bagged it or it was late. It was maybe it was BBC 2 9 o'clock or something, and I remember I got to watch it. And as a kid, it's like not the movie you're expecting.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and it's this sort of borderline horror film. It's very, very, very effective.
That was one of the home movies that because as I say, when we lived in Africa as a child, there was no TV station, so there was no TV full stop. And of course, my dad used to go out to this local store and hire these movies on 16mm, and Duel was one of them. You know, Duel, Coast Heroes, War Eagles Dare, and so on and so on. Death Wish.
Good choices.
Yeah. Death Wish, Spiral Staircase.
I never liked the Death Wish films, actually. I always thought they were a bit crass and crap.
Being close to Charles Bronson is a death sentence, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it nearly was for me. I know that. Yeah.
Blue, got something you want to recommend? You'll go.
Yeah, I finished. We talked about Furland season 1 of Your Honor. I watched season 2, and boy, I can't tell you the last show where season 2 of Your Honor starring Bryan Cranston. Season 2, it's like a whole 180 of his show compared to season 1, and I liked it. I'm not sure if we'll get any more, but I liked Your Honor. I finished it on Netflix.
Yeah, I've seen season 1. For anybody who doesn't know the story, Bryan Cranston plays a judge. This all happens in the pilot, so I mean, I'll tell you the premise. His son accidentally kills the son of a very high up mafia gangster in a hit town.
Yeah.
As the judge is forced to sort of like break the law to protect his son, while at the same time, gangster behind bars, but at the same time, then ultimately having to collude with him on various cases. You know, once he finds out, it's a great role for Cranston. It does stretch the rules of its reality quite a bit. By the time I got to the end of season 1, I was a bit like, "Come on, man, really?" It sort of, I liked it, but I just felt it went a bit too far.
I mean, I'm fine with the American legal system being as corrupt as it is. I could see.
Oh no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I bought into all of that.
Yeah.
I just put some of the realities in the storyline just went a bit too Peter Pan for me.
But yeah,
this kid was great.
Yeah, but when you get in it, then season 1's a cliffhanger. Then when you get into season 2, it's a whole different show, which is weird but also pretty intriguing because I can't think of many shows that have ever done that. Same cast, but it's a whole different direction for Bryan Cranston's character. And I'm like,
I mean, I'd be keen to see it. I've not seen season 2, and that, I mean, that sounds like a good decision because if they just repeated the same
with
the second season, it definitely wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, no, it's something because it's on Netflix. I highly recommend it. It's of course Bryan Cranston, but when you get into season 2, it's just like after the cliffhanger, like wow, like where are they going now? And the whole direction they went is so much different. And I was like, okay, I didn't see it coming. That's why I was intrigued by it for not seeing them go in that direction.
Yeah, here he is with Hunter Doon, who plays his son, and incredible actor Hunter Doon. He's really good in this show. Oh, and there is Margot Martindale, who, if you go on my blog and you look at my top 10 American character actors, she's in the list. She's always cropping up in things. She's also done the lead in a couple of indie films.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
She's very good.
She's pretty intimidating in Justified as well. And
yeah.
Yeah,
she's
she's
really funny in BoJack Horseman as herself. She's everyone keeps saying, "Oh, she's that woman we've seen, but we don't know the name of." And she's a total nutcase in that show as well. She's very funny.
Yeah, she's not in the show a lot, but when she's there, she's memorable.
Yeah, she's good. All right. Okay. Well, I'm gonna do my first pick of the week. So I remembered an absolutely amazing film, which I'm guessing not everyone on this panel will have seen. So we're going to watch it and then do a Chew the Fat special on it. I'm going to show you the trailer for it first.
And I want to have a lot of fun.
Who has seen Marine Parts 1 and 2?
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it 2 movies? Yeah, I've seen them.
It's 2 films. Yeah,
I saw them back when they came out.
Yeah, I saw it at the cinema when it came out. Stepenzo, what did you think?
I remember liking it. Don't remember much about them except there was like it was weird seeing the 2-parter movies back then. You know, when that happened, when it came out. What year was that?
Early 2000s, I think around 2000 and I want to say 2003, but I could be wrong. I've got the IMDb here. Let's get it up.
Yeah. I mean, it's solid French gangster flick.
Yeah, and they released the 2 parts. Take note, Kevin Costner, within a couple of weeks of each other. So you could literally go and see part 1 on Friday, and you could go and see part 2 the following Friday. You know, absolutely superb, true story of the public enemy number 1 in France and at one point all over the world, Jacques Marine, who was the most prolific bank robber in France. There's been 2 films made about him. There's been a sort of French TV movie, which I actually also own. But this labor of love, Vincent Cassel project, and you'll never see Cassel in a better role than this. He's amazing in it. You know, and they've done the right thing in the sense that it does require 2 films to tell the whole story. But it is like 2 parts of one long movie. But this is a fantastic film, really amazing acting. You're never going to be bored. The fact that this guy broke out of prison I think it was about 3 times.
4.
And each time with like a greater level of audacity. And then not only did he break out of one of the most high-tech at the time, sort of top security prisons in France, he then got a load of weapons together with his buddy and tried to break back into the prison to break everyone out, which is absolute insanity. That's the official poster that ran at the time in the UK, this one. Yeah, it's pretty incredible, man. It's a really, really, this is what really got me into French crime dramas. And after this, I started sort of like scouring the foreign sections to see, you know, where I could find like the French cop shows and stuff, because I thought if they're as gritty as this, they're going to be great. Which will bring me on to another one of my choices in a minute. But who else has seen this? Anyone?
No. But to be honest with you, this is really my bag.
Yeah, Inside Man, you'll love this. Absolutely, this actress is exceptionally good. I mean, the cast is really good, really good. Yeah, I mean, what more can I say about it? I give both parts 9 out of 10. Yeah, fantastic film. Blue Collar, you seen it?
Never heard of it. Sorry.
You've got your marine glasses on, so you're ready to go. You know.
Yeah, I'll check it out now. If you highly recommend, I'll check it out. Talking
of bank robbery films, did you guys ever see the made-for-TV movie that David Soul was in? I think it was called The FBI Murders, and it was about the first major FBI traffic stop of 2 known armed bank robbers, but it all went wrong and a whole load of them got killed, and David Soul played one of the bank robbers.
No.
It's a very, very good made-for-TV movie.
Nice.
David Soul is like really chilling in it. It's like a very different role for him.
Yeah.
That's another recommendation right there.
Yeah. It sounds familiar.
Yeah, it was available it's available to rent in the UK, so the chances of you having rented it out over here, because it was quite a high selling rental over here, because you know David Soul being in it, and you probably have seen it. I think the whole film is available for free on YouTube, because last time I watched it, that's where I saw it.
Right.
But it's also got a number of other very well-known actors in it, including Ronnie Cox from the Beverly Hills Cop.
Wow. Right.
Playing the senior detective who runs the FBI team in question. It's really good. 1988.
Yeah, that's one that I'm going to look for actually tomorrow. But yeah, I'm definitely going to get those 2 movies and give them a good old watch. But talking of David Soul, it's just such a shame that we lost David Soul. I think.
I know.
I mean, Tarantino is just missing out on all the actors that he wanted for his movies, and David Soul was one of them. He wanted David Soul for his final movie.
Right, really?
Yeah, the same way he wanted, obviously, Burt Reynolds was cast for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, but he died, didn't he, before?
Yeah, I think they shot a scene, but of course Bruce Dern took over the role.
Did a great job.
But yeah, David Soul, he was going to be in Tarantino's final movie.
Yeah. So, well, I actually met David Soul because he most people may know this, but he moved to England.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
He kind of got fed up with the United States. He moved to England, and he lived right up the road from me, and he used to go to my local pub. It was so weird. I was like sitting in the pub, and I was going, "Oh, that guy looks like David Soul, except he's got a beard." I was like, and then my friend went, "Yeah, that is David Soul with a beard." I was like, "All right, yeah, he was in here reciting poetry the other night." I was like, okay. So yeah, so I thought, well, I won't talk to him now, but I bet I'll see him in here again. And I did. I saw him several times, and I did speak to him. And funnily enough, one of the things we talked about was this movie. And I said that this really showed your range. You know, you really, because all I knew you for was Starsky and Hutch, and it was so great to see this happen. Tony Kaye's saying that incident in this film happened not far from where he grew up in LA. I think it took place in LA. If it's the one, I believe so. Owen Howard, Lahane, pretty amazing. Vincent Cassell's best. Yeah, that's you're asking a lot, saying this is his best. I think this is Marine is way better than Lahane. Lahane is good, but Marine is way better. It's a much more polished film. Vincent Cassell is much more mature actor. He's reined in a bit. Lahane was mostly improvised. It is a good film, but Marine is a much more accessible movie for people. Yeah, but La Haine is another good film. Stepenzo, what else you got?
Two not so great movies. One of them was better than the other. I saw one called Eight Eyes, and it was pretty good, but it's basically Texas Chainsaw Massacre in Eastern Europe. Everything you'd expect, guy with a crazy eye shows up to a nice, like starts piggybacking with some tourist couple.
Is it good? You say it's called Eight Eyes?
Eight Eyes, yeah. Okay. And it's very it was cool because it's like psychedelic horror. They were going for that like 70s trippy vibe.
Kind of vibe.
Yeah. And it's like I said, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's like turns out the guy has a family that's all fucked up, and they're a bunch of killers, and it's all crazy. And of course, you got a final girl running around, trying not to get killed, murdering all these family members to get away, and pretty by the numbers film. But I enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it was anything original story wise, but it was pretty original aesthetic wise. So I'd recommend checking it out if you're a big horror nut. The other movie I saw that wasn't that great, but probably worth seeing, is this very obnoxious and cringy comedy called Sex Positive. And it was basically a softcore movie with a bunch of obnoxious like feminist jokes all peppered throughout. But it's worth seeing because everybody's naked and having sex. And
that should be the quote of the day. It's worth seeing because everyone's naked and having sex.
and I appreciated how like all the chicks were actually attractive, like because they could have easily made it body positive. It's about a young lady who meets a guy who lives in a like a swinger house, and it's like a giant mansion filled with people that they all just have sex with each other, and they all go to sex parties, and the idea is they're going to run down. She's kind of like prudish, and they're going to run down the list of all the kinks in alphabetical order, and it's very strange, but it is worth seeing specifically for the last 10 seconds. There is a very insane laugh out loud joke that is like worth rewinding to see again. But yeah, I mean, both of these movies I'd say were pretty mid. I'd say like 5 out of 10, maybe 4 out of 10. But I watched them, and it's like
it's the extra 6 for the nudity.
yeah. Sex Positive was pretty, like I said, pretty graphic in terms of like, definitely showing cocks and boobies and sex, and everyone's just having sex all the time. It was, but you could tell like some feminine. You could tell there's like a duo writer group. You got the director who half wrote it, and then like some woman helped him, possibly his partner. But you could tell like all the lines that were written by this woman. It's very, I don't know. Everything plays out just like how nothing really fucked up happens. There's no real drama. It's like everyone's having sex with each other, and it's all great. There's no craziness or anything. It's just kind of like a fun. It was very considering how debaucherous it was, and very obscene. It was still it was trying to be very wholesome, which was strange. Tonal clash. But yeah, it was just very, like the title says, just like overly sex positive. But there were some great gags and some funny jokes. There were a lot of jokes that don't land and kind of made me roll my eyes. But like I said, the last 30 seconds, I'll show you guys afterwards backstage exactly what I'm talking about, so you guys don't have to see it. But it's amazing. It's like
I'm quite tempted to share it now, but
no, you won't be able to. You won't be able to. You can't. I don't even think you should share any screen grabs from this movie because like literally everybody's naked like most of the movie.
Right.
So yeah, those were fun. I don't know if they're not for everybody, but yeah, not as good as Thelma, basically.
Well, so you said you saw 2. Sex Positive was 1. What was the other one?
Eight Eyes. Yeah, Eight Eyes.
Oh, Eight Eyes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Both of them get a good, like, I don't know, 5 out of 10.
Okay, 5 out of 10. Inside Man, what else you got?
Well, I was going to do Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS, but
Uh,
but I thought I'd go for another 70s movie with Donald Sutherland.
Dude, Ilsa She-Wolf of the SS is like, oh my god, I've seen that one.
Yeah,
yeah, I've seen it.
That
yeah,
girl had huge boobies.
Yeah, and Salon Kitty as well. It's another good one. But anyway, yeah. So I thought I'd go with the Donald Sutherland film, 1979. A Man, a Woman, and a Bank. I don't know whether you remember this one, Lance.
Keep talking. I'm listening.
Okay. So what it is, you got this bank that's under construction, this new high-tech bank, and Donald Sutherland, he decides that he's going to rob this bank. However, he's going to make numerous adjustments to the security systems before the bank is actually built, so that he can literally just walk in, go to the vault, and walk out with the money, more or less. So as the bank's under construction, he's walking around with a hard hat, and he's got all these blueprints under his arm, and there's this girl that's taking promotional photographs, and she happens to take a promotional photograph of him to put on, to put in a pamphlet or a magazine or something. But it ends up on a giant billboard. So you got the guy who's going to rob the bank on a massive billboard outside the bank. And
I think I have seen this actually.
yeah, and of course she falls in love with him. He falls in love with her. He's got a best friend that's a bit of a hypochondriac, and yeah, it's it's a fun movie. It's it's okay. It's okay, and I just love Donald Sutherland. So
yeah,
it's
I
just-
mean, we had to lose him at some point.
Yeah,
God rest
yeah.
his soul. Probably the biggest loss this year
Yeah,
so far in
yeah.
terms of certainly the acting world. This came out in it was mid 70s, wasn't it?
79, I think it was. Yeah.
Um,
So it's pretty good. It's it's pretty goofy. It's nothing particularly taxing about it.
it's
But
got wasn't Brooke Adams in Invasion of the Body Snatchers with him?
yes, yeah, and
She was-
she is
she- she was his love-
absolutely she's lovely in this. She is
She was
quite
his love
lovely.
interest.
Yeah, she really is pretty steaming hot in this. Actually, she looks great.
Yeah, I think I did see this because it was shown like on UK TV back in the day,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah,
I
it
think
was.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I saw it then. The old classic lobby stills.
Yeah. And I
Nothing
used
like
to have this. I used to have this on Embassy Video. This was one that I managed to grab from one of the video stores that used to have a sale regularly. So they get all their old tapes out and stick them on the
Yeah.
table.
Yeah.
They'd walk in and just Lance. I mean, we'd go in and we'd just get a big bag full of
Yeah, like
tapes.
$1.99.
Yeah, yeah.
All of that.
Happy
Only
days.
only Donald Sutherland could make a Dennis Waterman trench coat from Minder and a body warmer combination look cool. Not many men can pull that off with a
No,
tash,
no.
with a tash as well.
Yeah.
Or
It's
as
very
Professor-
hard considering the enormous collars and the flares back then as well.
Yeah.
or as Professor Artu would say, so sex then. That's what's going on in that picture. Yeah, so
Yeah, she is really quite lovely in this film. Yeah, she looks great. She really does look great.
yeah, Lord Toxic, you're right. I think Tony K was referring to the movie about the one that the shootout was loosely based on in Heat, very loosely. There's a movie about that. I think it's called something like 68 Minutes or 58 Minutes. That's a good film actually as well. That's a very good made for TV movie. But yeah, the FBI murders was the shootout in Florida. You're absolutely right.
Talking of Lord Toxic, his sign off on the Band of Brothers stream that we did on Sunday.
Oh yeah,
I thought was really quite wonderful actually. Listening to the things that he was saying about the show and how it sort of affected him, and I thought you know, I actually was quite moved by some of the things that he actually said, and yeah, and realised, you know, he really has quite a big heart. So yeah, what a
He
lovely man.
does, but
What a lovely guy.
beneath that buff gay exterior, there is definitely a big heart in that man.
He's a
for sure.
lovely man.
Big
truly.
throbbing heart.
Yeah. So there you go. There you go, Lord Toxic. This could be the beginning of a big gay romance for you. So.
Oh, hello.
So, where's the body warmer gone? Look, he's got rid of the body warmer in this photo. You know what? He decided it was too hot. He didn't need the body warmer to rob the bank.
Now I'm just gonna unbutton the top 3 buttons of my shirt and show off my 1970s sexy.
Is this still by any chance from the "Hey, we've got away with it" scene?
I'm sorry, I'm not actually at my screen, so sorry, I'm halfway across the room.
Oh,
So,
it's Donald Sutherland and Brooke Adams sitting on a plane, smiling inanely.
Oh yeah,
him dressed as a priest. This feels like the comedy scene before we cut to credits. You know,
it is, and actually, there's a couple of good little lines there.
Yeah,
as well. As it closes, yeah.
Good to see we've got Tony K lurking in the chat again. Yeah, good recommendation. Thanks very much for that one.
Pleasure.
Fantastic. Northern, you got any others you want to offer up?
Well, I won't mention Cobra Kai because I think you might want to do something a bit on that another time, I'm guessing. But
you can mention it because I've got it in the list. It's already scrolling across the bottom.
I was going to mention it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that later then, because since I'm using the still of Rutger Hauer in The Hitcher, that means I've just rewatched The Hitcher a couple of days ago, and yeah.
Oh, I mean,
you don't like that one. You don't like that one inside, man.
The Hitcher is such a good film.
It's an amazing film.
I've been meaning to
love
do
it.
Chew the Fat.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I like
there's
the
a
remake
lot of
too.
real mystery. Yeah, there's a lot of real mystery with Rutger Hauer's hitchhiking. Like, why is he tracking this kid? I mean, to me personally, I just think the kid got the better of him, and he wants to see how far he can go with him.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of critical analysis about like Rutger Hauer's the devil in it, you know, and this kind of thing. I love the best bit in that movie is, and I saw it at the cinema, and the cinema was packed, and there's a number of jump scares in that film.
Yeah.
The best bit in that movie is when, you know, that family overtakes him, and he sees the teddy bear and the kids, and he's pretending to shoot at the kids. And then suddenly Rutger Hauer's face appears behind the teddy bear. That's so well done.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, even the jump scares are done really well. Like when he's eating the fries after little encounter, then he finds the finger, and it just comes out of fucking nowhere. It's just damn, man.
I mean, there's also that bit where he's just about to surrender, and he's got the sheriff guy on the phone in the car because he's taken those two guys hostage. And then Rutger Hauer blows the head off of that guy. You know, he pulls up alongside.
See Thomas Howell cannot catch a break at all with this guy. He is a walking nightmare. He is the epitome of a walking nightmare. And maybe he is the devil in a way, because how the hell is he shooting down a helicopter with just a pistol? And there's a few times where he sneaks a knife into him without him ever leaving his jacket vulnerable for him to take it. It's one of those little few things that make you question him more and more.
Yeah, it's that's another film from the terrible 80s where no good movies were ever made.
What I said was, about 90% of movies from the 80s were crap. So for every Hitcher, you have a Grease 2, The Sting 2.
Yeah, but
Police Academy 3, Jaws 3D, Bolero, Tarzan the Ape Man. So,
but if you cut out all of the straight to video stuff and some of those shit sequels, there's quite a lot of good. Anyway.
Let's
not go down that road again.
What you're saying is, what we do is we cut out all the crap movies, and then there'll be no crap movies in the 80s.
Well, but I could go through this last decade and say the same thing. This was actually exactly the point that I was trying to make last week, which was that the 80s is exactly the same. We're reliving the 80s right now because we have
this complete and utter surge of garbage that's coming through, and there's the occasional gem. I mean, it's a giant dung heap that we are picking these little glass beads out of at the moment, and that's exactly what it was in the 80s. You know, so for every Terminator, you know, we've got a Superman 3 and a Superman 4 and a Jaws: The Revenge. You know, it's as simple as that. You know, not everything was great in the 80s. Not every movie was great in the 80s. We just happened to have a stack of terrific movies that were around in the 80s, but the volume of shit was piled several stories high.
But I mean, that's always been the case, man. There's always been the 80s was a big time of money, so there was a lot more stuff being made. Canon was churning stuff out. You had the video boom, so there was a lot of stuff that was made quickly and cheaply for video. So you're right, in terms of overall numbers, there were a lot of films, a lot of people are doing videos on stuff that was you know, I think Northern did something. What was that? Miami
Connection.
Miami Connection. That's a good example.
Yeah, dude. Love it.
The sort of shit that was getting made, but some of the bad stuff, like, I mean, Invasion USA is an absolutely cheesy nonsense movie, but
it's an absolute hoot. Yeah, it's a hoot. It really is. I mean, look, I like bad movies. I do like bad movies, but I don't like shit movies. But then it's completely subjective. I mean, one man's meat is another man's poison. It's always going to be that way. But I just think that we're sort of reliving the 80s at the moment. It is that, you know, the volume of stuff that's out there is content.
I don't know.
We had that in the 80s.
I feel hair needs to be worse. Dan Candy is saying Grease 2 is underrated. Superman 3 is
oh my god
underrated. Lord Toxic wants to point out that
don't go any further.
RoboCop, Predator, Lost Boys, Beverly Hills Cop 2, all summer of '87. Yeah, I've already done this with him about 1988.
Yeah, they're great movies, but that's, you know, but there is always going to be, like I say, you know, Grease 2, The Sting 2. I mean, The Sting 2, for Christ's sake. What were they thinking?
Do you know what? I actually haven't seen that. So, Drew Gordon has just said, I voted for Killdozer. I don't understand the question. So we got a poll going. Who would you like to see have a guest cameo in the movie Sex Positive? That's the movie that Lord Toxic, not Lord Toxic, sorry, Stepenzo was mentioning earlier, that was completely packed with sex. And the people I've suggested for potential cameos in that movie are Killdozer, as in the dozer in a sex scene, Blue Collar Loser, Lord Toxic, and the Inside Man, but wearing a hard hat only.
Excellent.
So far, Inside Man has got 0 votes.
Jesus Christ.
Inside Man's got 0 votes. Lord Toxic and Blue Collar are equal at 17%. But everybody wants to see Killdozer have a sex scene at 67%. So we're...
I don't want any votes.
Make sure you vote on that. Come on, chat. I believe in you. We can get Inside Man to that number one spot.
No.
Maybe he'll come back just wearing a hard hat on a stream at a later date.
Well, I'm in a grass skirt.
Well, that's just normal for you. So The Hitcher, that's another great old film, terrific. And that's a 9 out of 10 movie from me. It's could even be a 10.
Well, it's not even gory either. It's more the gruesome parts are more in the aftermath. Like especially when Jennifer Jason Leigh is.
Oh my god, that scene!
I mean, Christ, man, you don't even see it. It fades to black, you know, and know she's dead.
A lot of the violence is implied, like when he comes across the car of that family later, the Volkswagen.
Yeah, you don't see the dead bodies either. You just see his reaction. You just see him puke up, and you know it's bad.
Do you know what? That scene is just begging for a fan edit with National Lampoon's Vacation, because it's the same family car, I bet you could do a really fun fan edit.
Yeah, it kills the Griswolds.
Where it looks like the Griswolds have all just been like murdered. That'd be so funny. I might actually have a go at that myself. That'd
Sometimes we gotta pick up hitchhikers. It helps them. It pays to be nice and kind.
He's wearing tennis shoes, Dad. Well, they used to be rusty. Yeah. So the Hitcher, another good one. We are going to talk about Cobra Kai. Now, here's a funny thing. So I started watching it, and I suddenly realised, fuck. I've just realised I didn't watch the last season.
Jesus.
But you know what? I learned everything I needed to know in the recap, so it's fine.
It's not a complicated show.
I just carried
Season
on.
5 was ridiculous, but it was fun, though. It was.
Yeah, the whole show's ridiculous, but it's fun.
It is. It's a karate tournament. Why is Terry Silver hiring assassins with fucking katana swords?
It's about as complicated as both Twister films, okay?
So the last season was Terry Silver kind of going full mental and burning down places and hiring assassins. And
Terry Silver is like one of my favorite movie villains of all time.
He is. He knows he's evil. He knows he's evil. He's in the third Karate Kid movie. He's sat in a bloody hot tub with a bloody brick yuppie phone going, screw it, dump the toxic waste in the ocean. Who fucking cares?
Yeah, I know.
How can you not love him?
Who's this strange lady with the chopsticks?
I have no idea.
I mean, you know, it's great to see like Martin Cove and
my God,
these two as well. They've got such a really got such a strong love for each other. It's kind of nice to see.
Those two are having so much fun together.
They are, and I kind of love that because Ralph Macchio's career sort of pretty much kind of began and ended with Karate Kid at one point because he did Crossroads, he did a couple of other things, and he could act. He was a good actor. It's just they wouldn't cast him in anything else, and I kind of felt really bad for him. And then didn't he get a guest role playing himself in Entourage? That was a fun episode.
Dude, Crossroads.
How I Met Your Mother, along with William Zabka as well.
Yeah, Crossroads is like my old guitar player is like one of his favorite movies, man. We used to watch it all the time. He loved it.
Yeah, that's when he makes a deal with the devil to like play
played by
really well.
Who plays the devil? Or Eric Johnson or Steve Vai or somebody? Some famous guitar player.
Yeah.
Who was it?
I think Ralph Macchio is a pretty good actor. If you watch him in things like The Outsiders.
Yeah, it's Steve Vai.
Yeah, I think he's pretty decent. I'm not saying he's Robert De Niro.
He definitely has the fountain of youth, you know, like with his age.
Yeah, man.
He was making those Karate Kid movies like almost in his 30s, and you know, people.
Yeah, you can really tell he wanted to get out the third one as well because his love interest was actually 16 as well. The actress was 16. It's
she was supposed to be a love interest, but they changed it to just like platonic friend because yeah, it's too weird. And I like how Ralph Macchio was like, nah, dude, no.
All the women that returned from the movies actually aged really well. Even, Elizabeth Shue aged well. Kimiko aged well. Even, I forgot the name of the love interest in the third one, but she really aged well. And it turns out she's the reason why LaRusso is married to his wife now. So, yeah, but it's a show that has really evolved these characters. It turned two-dimensional characters from the previous movies and really fleshed them out and gave them more context. And it should not have worked, this show, but it really has done. And
yeah, I remember that episode of Entourage where he gets kicked out of Hugh Hefner's bunny party, and that's a whole thing. It was really funny. Yeah, I really do like these two guys. You can clearly see we've all got the same dad if you look at their chins as well. So I'm obviously related to them at some point somewhere because we've all got that big chin thing going on. So, but do you recommend it though? Is Cobra Kai the latest season any good?
It's okay. It does tread on familiar ground way too much. Like some old storylines are kind of recycled a little bit, and I am glad this is the final season because you can really see is really running out of steam a tiny bit.
Yeah.
You can make the argument the other series were the same, but they still had enough craziness to keep it entertained. And this is still no lesser for it. This is still a decent season. it's padded out a little bit, and hopefully the second half might kick things up a little bit of a notch, and it'll end on a very high note. I hope it does.
Yeah, I would think so. I'd like to see it end with Johnny getting married. That's what I'd like to see, because there's a second section of it to come, isn't there? So
yeah, I think he will. Because he's already looking forward to being a dad with his new woman as well. So and he really evolved as the series goes on, but he's still kind of he's not lost his sort of like stuck in the past douchebaggery, which always makes him like it does. Yeah, it's
stuck in the past.
Yeah, he is. But that's why we like him. He doesn't give a fuck about modern society, and we need more guys like Johnny in a way.
Well, I mean, needless to say, I'm Eagle fan all the way. But I did put the link for the FBI murders in the chat earlier, so if people want to see that.
Oh, great.
And it's funny, actually, if you look on, it's often referred to as the Miami shootout, and if you look on YouTube, there's a whole load of people have done breakdowns of how that firefight unfolded, sort of, bullet by bullet. So there's a whole load of YouTubers that have dedicated different videos to it. There's a great sort of FBI, a guy called Paul Harrell's done one called the Miami-Dade shooting, an analysis. And I think the actual shooting took place in 86 and the TV movie came out in 88, because they would do these TV movies like pretty quick back then. But yeah,
Lance, Cobra Kai this season, they're actually putting it out in 3 parts. So this is part 1. Part 2 is mid-year. The final part of it's coming out next year.
So it's definitely not 2 seasons. It's 1 season spread over 2 years in 3 parts.
Yes,
it's definitely just the final season. Honestly, okay, all right.
I don't know why Netflix did that for, but it must have been locations or something, or schedules. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. Okay. So Cobra Kai, I guess that's a recommendation, soft recommendation.
I like the cliffhanger ending too.
I've only seen the first 2 episodes.
Oh yeah, because we mean cliffhanger for part 1. Because remember, there's 15 episodes, so they're putting out in 5, and 5. So this episode 5 is a cliffhanger to part 2 of 5. Yeah.
Okay. Before I mention a few final shows, has anybody got anything else they want to give a plug?
I've been watching a little bit of Look Around You. Do you remember? Do you remember that with Peter Serafinowicz?
Oh yeah, it was like a spoof on like Tomorrow's World, wasn't it? It had, Peter Serafinowicz and very underrated Peter Serafinowicz.
Yeah, absolutely superb. I mean, the first episode I think is it's a parody of the programs for schools and colleges that we used to have here in the UK. It's really even you wouldn't remember this, Luke. It's way before your time, mate. But Lance,
I know a little bit about it. I know a little bit about it. So
Lance will definitely remember. If Lance watches the first episode, he'll definitely remember the kind of programs that we were forced to watch at school back in the late 70s, early 80s. And of course, I think the next episode is a parody of Tomorrow's World. Really quite strange, but in a weird way, it's. I mean, I was absolutely soiling myself with laughter. Brilliant, just brilliant. Olivia Colman as well is in it.
Give me the name again.
Look Around You.
That sort of reminds me of the whole kind of Johnny Ball. Think of a number.
It's yeah. It's kind of a play on that as well. That all of those kind of.
Do you know what? Do you know? Because he did several of those programs. It was one called Think of a Number. There was there were 2 others.
Think Again was the other one.
Think Again. There was another one, and I always knew as soon as his program came on, it was time to turn over to ITV.
Yeah,
that was my main take. Oh my God, educational! No, quick, change the channel.
Yeah.
Let's check out Press Gang on ITV or whatever they were showing at the time. Probably the Tomorrow People.
The Tomorrow People.
The Tomorrow People.
What a great show that was! My God,
it was good. Look around you. I have it. It's available on BBC DVD with Peter Serafinowicz and Robert Popper. Has anybody here seen the Tomorrow People? Apart from me and Inside Man, of course. Anyone?
I've known of it. I know of it, and not because you've advertised it a few times, but I've had people I've known who are older who did grow up with those kind of programs, but I've never actually seen them.
They were, they were really quite innovative, really, for their day. I think there's a couple of seasons that are available on YouTube, so you can watch the seasons all the way through. They're pretty good, actually. They're pretty good.
So good that we should do this. I think we need to re-edit that and have like the Nielsen ratings panels faces.
That's a really good idea.
And that title sequence would be so fun.
Do you know? I don't know about you, Lance, but when I used to watch that as like a 5 or 6 year old, literally, I would shit my pants.
Yeah, it would creep me the fuck out.
Yeah,
that title sequence.
Yeah,
But
absolutely shat myself.
The show itself was like fairly benign.
Yeah.
I do was it called the Prisoners of Ra or something like that? The Egyptian one was the one I always remember. Kind of had some creepy moments, but it was not too bad. And
of course, your friend did a very good book on the Tomorrow People, didn't he?
I've got it. Yeah, Adrian Sherlock, who I interviewed, who's one of the industry interviews on the channel,
and it's a very good interview as well. It was a really, really interesting interview.
Thank you very much. Not as good as the 2.5 hour interview I did with Milana Jackson, though. I have to say that interview is amazing. That interview is amazing.
Yeah.
It was a really, really just like very insightful, and I've had lots of conversations with her since. So I'm sure she's going to come back. Got a couple of other recommendations that we'll do real quick. I like to plug the documentaries that I've watched. So here's a couple that are available on Netflix worldwide. One of them is Il Casaro Yara. It's basically the Yara Gambrasario case beyond reasonable doubt. This is a true story of a girl who went disappeared in Italy, small town in Italy. Again, it's one of the cases that was kind of broken by DNA testing. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't watched it yet, which will probably be most of you. But the DNA testing results that ultimately revealed the investigations to be, shall we say, prompted in the right direction were not expected. And it's a very, very good documentary series. Give it a solid 8. I think it's like 4 parts or something. I didn't expect to be particularly interested in this next one. It was kind of like I'm sort of nodding off. I just put something on, and I found myself to be surprisingly engaged. And that was the I think it's 3-part documentary on Simone Biles, who's this incredibly talented gymnast who was super talented at a really young age. Got to the Olympics, and then during the Olympics, during COVID, she kind of fell apart and had a bit of a mental breakdown. And it kind of covers all of that. And it's kind of really insightful because you've got to remember these people are really young, and the pressure that they're under at the Olympics and what they go through. I found it really interesting, and they're doing a second part, which is going to be filmed during her entry at the Olympics in Paris.
Right.
Because isn't the Olympics in Paris starting like in a few days?
Yeah, I think it's Friday, isn't it?
So
Friday.
we've got the first part now, and the second part is to come. But and she gets married and stuff like this, kind of normal things. But I didn't really know much about her other than she was incredibly talented. What's really interesting about the documentary is her and her sister were both foster children, and they were so lucky to be brought up by the parents that they were and encouraged to do the things that they did. And her life could have turned out so differently. And I think the main takeaway from the documentary for me was, God, isn't amazing what difference the right parents can make in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good. I mean, it might not be of interest to everybody, and I'm not the least bit interested in Olympic sports, but I just found her persona and just the general story quite emotionally engaging. It was nice.
Yeah.
So one that I would recommend. My last recommendation of this week is a solid 10 out of 10. This is a television series. You're going to have to commit to 4 seasons. It's the Penzo's automatically reaching for the off switch.
If it's done and it's good, I'll check it out.
It's good. It's good. This is something I'm going to talk about later in the year in a more detailed fashion. But why don't you check out this? Yeah, that is a trailer for Braquo. And I will basically call this the French equivalent of The Shield. It's about a squad of undercover detectives in working class Paris, led by the character that Jean-Hugh Anglade plays. It's an exceptionally good television show. I've got the hard copies of all 4 seasons on the shelf behind me, right next to The Shield. Oh, sorry. No, it is 4 seasons. I thought it was 5 for a minute. It's 4. It's 4 seasons. So, it's as gritty. It's as gritty as they come. I can't recommend it enough. It's if you like your sort of European gritty, realistic set thrillers, police procedurals, but you want something that's more hardcore than Law and Order, this is it. And like I said, this is a 9 out of 10 show for me. Let me just go on camera for a second here. Let me just blow myself up. Yeah. Oh, yeah. What's this new hat? Look at that.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. I know. My friend Ridley gave that to me. So, this is all 4 of them. Actually, there you go. There's the 4th one. And I just happened to pick this. I picked season 1 of this up in a second-hand shop, hence the shit stickers that are still on it. And I thought, this looks good. And boy, was it good. And I binged it pretty quick in a single week. And I've been meaning to talk about it on the channel for quite a while. It's first class television, really good writing, really good acting. You're very conflicted as the viewer because this is a squad of corrupt policemen, and you kind of it's that same moral dichotomy as The Shield. You want them in your corner if you're in trouble, but you don't want them solving a murder for you either. It's really, really, really good. I can't recommend it enough. I think I'm probably the only person that's seen it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Again, it's something that's really quite my bag. It
Yeah,
really is
very much.
right up my street. I mean, it's funny though, isn't it? I mean, French drama, Italian drama, Scandinavian drama, German drama. There's some very good Belgian stuff out there as well at the moment. We at one point, I think we still probably are in this country. I don't know what it's like in the United States, but we used to be very, very ignorant of anything that happened to be in a foreign language. It's kind of coming through a little bit more, and there is an audience for it over here. but I still think more people should be watching foreign movies and foreign TV
Yeah.
shows.
I
Because
mean, thanks to Netflix, that audience is much bigger than it used
Yeah,
to be. But
agreed.
It could be bigger still. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially around the Asian content, like All of Us Are Dead Now, or Home Sweet Home. It's or Sweet Home, I should say. I mean, stuff like that. Those are very good programs.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the Scandinavian stuff. I like it, that really sort of, quite dark, very pessimistic.
The Killing.
Yeah, The Killing's excellent. Yeah,
yeah,
Killing's excellent.
We could do a chew the fat on that one day.
And there's a very good film called Jar City. Scandinavian. I think it's an Icelandic film. It's based on a book by a guy called I think it's either Ragnar Jonasson or Arnuldur Indridason. I'm not. It's one.
Damn, you really went all out on the pronunciation on that last one.
Yeah, Arnuldur Indridason.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I did try to learn Icelandic at one point, and
yeah, that's not an easy language. Question in the chat from Drew Gordon, and I've seen you've been a regular, Drew, so I really appreciate you supporting the channel in that fashion. Isn't Peaky Blinders supposed to be good? I never saw it. Looks cheesy to me. I heard it has good historical accuracy, though. Pat Mills likened it to a World War I veterans being addicted to marching powder. Well, I'll let my panel chip in first before I say anything. Who has seen Peaky Blinders?
Yeah, I've seen it. It's actually pretty good.
Is that it? Is that all we get?
Yeah,
it's pretty good. It's been a while since I watched it, but
men from the north they say few words, but what they say is important. Okay.
Yeah, if you like fucking gangsters, if you like fucking men being actual fucking men, and some good actors, and with great chemistry and some good dialogue, looking fucking cool as well, then you'll like Peaky Blinders.
All right. Less with the F-bombs, man. I'm gonna get like copyrighted. I'm gonna get copyrighted up the wazoo for this episode.
I didn't know the copyrighted curse words.
Not to mention the adult content thing. Yeah, Peaky Blinders. Blue, have you seen it?
Just season 1. I do have to go back and finish it.
Inside Man, you seen it?
No, I haven't seen a single episode. I mean, one of my sons kept telling me, "You've got to watch this, Dad. You've got to watch this," and I completely ignored him.
It depends, though.
Yeah.
What? What does it mean?
I did not watch Peaky Blinders. I'm familiar with it. I hear it's good.
Okay. There's no Mexican food in Peaky Blinders, just to let you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Drew Gordon saying it's not Northern period. Well, no, Midlands. It's Midlands. Peaky Blinders. Yeah. It's Birmingham.
What I'd say about it is, I'm a bit. I haven't seen the whole thing. I've seen seasons 1 and 2, another season, which I think might be either 3 or 4 or 5, and then some other episodes towards the end. It gets much better as it goes along, because at the beginning they didn't have much money, and then you can see the budget exponentially increases, especially from season 3 onwards. You have got some really good quality actors in there, and it does focus a lot on character narrative, and I like that. Boardwalk Empire probably is the strongest show, but this
I was gonna say I've seen Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah, this is like the British.
I think Sopranos had a little bit more of a group. There was times where the action in Peaky Blinders felt a little bit showy, and I kind of preferred it more of the quiet, sort of disturbing violence in the Sopranos.
Did you see the bit in Peaky Blinders where they pull the World War I machine gun out the back of the van and start shooting up the housing estate?
It's been a long time.
If you saw that scene, you'd know.
Honestly, I've not even finished season 4 yet, so I can't really say too much then yet at the moment. It's been a while. I'll have to rewatch it again.
All right. Okay. Well, we'll start to wrap up as it's 10 to midnight.
Good film. Good film. Charles Bronson.
Yeah, that's another one of his that I wasn't particularly impressed with. Has anybody else got anything they want to plug quickly before we start?
Give me a chance. Go see Twisters.
Yeah, I watched.
Twisters. Okay, no, let's talk about Twisters. I mean, I get the plot. It's, you've got your guys who are in it for the love, and the guys who are chasing tornadoes for the corporate sponsorship shit. Okay, so much so previous movie. Special effects particularly good,
of course, especially if you get a chance in IMAX. Well, chef's kiss.
Is it better than Night of the Twisters though?
Wow, that's a high bar.
I don't know. I like Night of the Twisters a lot, dude. I was pretty shocked at how good it was for a crappy made-for-TV movie. But Twisters is fun.
It's a good Night of the Twisters is a really good serious. This is a film about a real tornado that actually happened. Movie.
Yeah.
This is utter nonsense, but I mean,
it's as believable as the first Twister. If you're okay with the first Twister, you're okay with this one.
Yeah. So not at all then.
Exactly. That's why, like I said, Lance, I tell everybody who asks that, if you like Top Gun and you like Top Gun Maverick, this is Top Gun Maverick to Top Gun. That's it.
Well, this guy was in Top Gun Maverick, wasn't he? Like the new
yeah, it was basically the Iceman character in them.
He's also going to be in the remake of Backdraft and Running Man.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they're remaking. I know they're remaking Running Man. They're remaking Backdraft. Really?
Apparently.
Guess so.
Why'd you have to remake Backdraft? Why don't you just do another show about being a fireman and call it The Fireman or something?
That's Hollywood.
Do you know what I mean? It doesn't need to be Backdraft remake, does it? Okay. Yeah. Well. He's got great teeth. What can I say? Oh, that's the lady. That's the lady who used to be in ER.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember her.
Yeah, I said Glenn Powell, he is having nothing but fun, and I had fun watching him. The guy he knows what movie he's in. We know what movie he's in. He's just wearing a cowboy hat, playing country rock, and just riding twisters.
I like this picture here. Could he be any more cowboy Texan?
America.
I've got my cowboy hat on. I've got my cowboy shirt on.
Giant belt buckle. That's like
he is Texan as well in real life.
Giant belt buckle, suspicious bulge in the tight jeans. It's all happening. It's all going on.
He has his own YouTube channel too. So.
He does?
Yes.
Oh shit! We're gonna check that out. We're gonna check that out right now. Give me the link for that right now. Give me the link
in the movie.
Oh right.
In the movie.
As he's chasing twisters, he's broadcasting on YouTube.
Yeah, there's a lot of shots that are like, what's it, selfie stick camera, in the movie.
Oh yeah.
You so deceived me then. I thought the actor had his own YouTube channel.
I was gonna say Glenn Powell's been saying some pretty base stuff about why movies suck nowadays. Why it's like movies will do good if the movie's good. I mean, it's pretty simple arithmetic.
I did like the director said that people wanted me to advocate climate change. He goes, no, this is just about chasing twisters. There's no political messaging, no climate change. It's just people chasing twisters. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other thing I saw, because Trump announced his VP pick, JD Vance. Nobody knew who the hell he was. I didn't, and apparently he had a movie about him made by Ron Howard. It's on Netflix. It's called Hillbilly Elegy, and I was telling like my Meg and some other people about it. They're like, "Oh my god, I love the book." I was like, "Okay." So apparently it's a thing, and me and Mom watched it, and it was good. It was it kind of played out like an after school special. The whole movie is like, stay in school, get good grades, don't do drugs. But Amy Adams really goes for it as a hillbilly heroin addict, just trying to raise kids. And Glenn Close is the grandma who instills all the wisdom on the boy. And I don't know, it was fun. It was one of those movies that's like two congruent storylines, with the past and present, like having past and present happening simultaneously.
Right.
But yeah, basically the kid had a rough upbringing and still managed to work real hard, go to Yale and, take care of his mother, get her off the smack. Yeah, it was a fun movie. It was not a fun movie, but I mean, it was a decent little movie. And you know how I love Lifetime Hallmark style movies.
No, I got a soft spot for those kind of films.
It kind of has one of those vibes, except rated R.
I got a horrible feeling this is Glenn Close's character in this box in this scene.
No, it isn't. It's Grandpa.
All right. Okay. Now you spoiled it for me.
Well, it happens at the beginning.
Oh,
yeah, Lance. I did find later on it was a couple of scenes, but Bill Paxton's son, he has like just a handful of scenes in Twisters. It's kind of like, you know, he's not a big role, but I just seen Bill Paxton's kid pop up in the sequel.
If you'd come back and said Bill Paxton's son has a YouTube channel, then I would have been impressed. You've ruined it now. Okay. Okay. Fantastic. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to wrap up then. Inside Man, anything you want to plug coming up?
Well, no.
Okay, so
No,
I'm just
not
going to
really.
remind people I've got this interview on Thursday. Actually, it's a slightly unusual time. It's at 11 p.m. UK time, 11 p.m. But do try and tune in. Try and be in the chat, you guys, if you can, because it's taken me a really long time to get Nicky Marshall on the channel, and it'd be great if we had a bit of chat interaction going on. And by that, I don't mean Lord Toxic putting nonsense comments, but yeah, it's going to be really interesting to speak to her because she's been in the industry a long time. She's just made her directional debut, and she's got all kinds of stuff going on. So, yeah, so that'll be good. Sorry, I just realized, get that scrolling post up about Inside Man for ages. We should take that down. And I've also got Neil Marshall coming on the channel later this month. He's going to be on the 29th. And he is director of Dog Soldiers, The Descent, Doomsday, Centurion. Yeah, he also did 2 of the best episodes of Game of Thrones. And yeah,
one of my favorite episodes of Black Mirror, I think.
Right.
Metalhead, I think you made that one.
Oh my god, yeah, amazing.
Do you know what? I'm going to make sure that I watch that. This might be him doing a bit part, I think, in Game of Thrones. I think that's him on set.
I think he did Centurion as well, didn't he?
He did, yeah, he did. That's a great film. That's a very underrated movie. They kind of spunked all their budget in the first 30 minutes, though. That's the problem with that film, but it's still a lot of fun.
Oh no, wait! Metalhead was directed by David Slade. Never mind. 30 Days of Night, gay hard candy.
Yeah, yeah, but I've met him in person. Lovely guy. He's had a bit of a journey in the industry, taken a few knocks. So I'm looking forward to chewing the fat with him for sure. And yeah, chatting to him about his latest film, The Duchess, which was DOP'd by Simon Rowling, who is also in the industry interviews section, who I've also interviewed. So cool. Stepenzo, what you got coming up?
Well, I'm going out of town tomorrow. Got a gig on Friday, and my We Watch premiere is going to be a full-length, made-for-TV movie, kind of like Night of the Twisters. Me and Leon from Words of Paradise, we watched the MacGyver movie, Treasure of Atlantis, which was very, very hokey and fun. So yes, that'll be premiering tomorrow around 2:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm going to try to be watching it with the chat, but I will be driving probably, so I might not be as active in the comment section as I normally am on the premieres. But yeah, that's coming up, and that'll be fun.
Is that the MacGyver episode?
MacGyver movie? Yeah, the MacGyver movie. Yeah, made for TV movie. Yeah, it was silly because it's like he's like they're doing like the adventurer archaeologist thing. He's like trying to find artifacts, which is like me and Leon were like, does he? He doesn't do that normally. He's more like a spy, right?
Did someone say Indiana Jones equals money
I think I read that there were a couple of episodes that were kind of like that. So that'll be coming out tomorrow. And it was fun. I mean, regardless, MacGyver's hair is on fleek. And yeah, Brian Blessed, he's really hamming it up. All the English actors are hamming it up.
Does Brian Blessed shout very loudly?
Oh, he nonstop shaking his fist. Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah.
Gordon's alive.
I mean, how strange! I
by
actually
my
watched. There's quite a coincidence because last night I watched the first episode of I, Claudius,
Oh,
based on the
wow.
Robert,
That's going back.
based on the
That's
Robert
going
Graves.
back a bit.
Yeah, I think it was 1974, and Brian Blessed. You know, he's like it's quite fresh faced and still has that booming voice, obviously. But
yeah.
yeah, he looks almost unrecognizable, obviously without the beard. But he's
That's
got a very big face, Brian Blessed.
yeah, you should
Small hands.
You should complain.
Yeah, small hands.
It's
Small hands, big face. You know what that means?
He's a very eccentric guy, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, yeah.
He's a bizarre man.
Yeah.
It's Derek Jacobi in I, Claudius, and when this came out, because I think it had a bit of nudity and sort of homosexual themes like Roman stuff does. I remember there was a massive debate about this show, and
I think you're talking about. I think you're actually talking about Caligula.
No, I'm not. I'm not talking about Caligula. I know about that and the whole Electric Blue scenes that were inserted and blah blah blah. No, I'm not talking about that. On a late night chat program, there was a massive debate about what should and shouldn't be commissioned on television series, and this show was hotly debated by this group of nonsense conservative types.
Yeah, I recommend everyone watch this show for the insane blocking in every scene. Like, there's amazing blocking with the actors and the cameras, and changing angles and stuff. It's really impressive. They definitely put thought into it.
Captain Picard with hair. Check that out.
So does he find Atlantis? Does he actually find it, or
he finds the treasure of Atlantis, which I'm not going to reveal what it is.
Right. There you go, Captain Picard. Look at that with hair.
Hey, watch that hand, dude.
Yeah, what's going on there? But this was a very controversial show at the time, and if you watch it now, and it's like tame as anything, but because of the various kind of themes that were in it.
I still think that you might be thinking of something else. It might actually be the Caesars, because there's nothing remotely controversial about this at all.
It was part of a Q&A, and one of the guests actually suggested that this show should have been one of the people in the audience put one of the panel on the spot, and ultimately forced him to mention this show. So trust me,
It's weird because there's no nudity in this. There's nothing sexual in this. Isn't
it quite sort of like adult sort of themes though?
No, it's very Shakespearean.
Maybe
that's really what it is. It's not. I mean, there was a series.
It wasn't Caligula. It wasn't Caligula. Might have been something else that came out around the same time. But
yeah, I mean, this is very much a one of those very stable, steady BBC type programs of the early 70s.
I'd like to watch this again because I used to see bits of it, and I'd be like, I was a kid, I'd be like, where are the laser guns? I'm falling asleep.
It's very, very kind of very, very much a BBC studio show, if you know what I mean. There's very kind of small scale, but it's done very, very well. It is done very well.
I bet the dialogue in this is better than the dialogue in Those About to Die.
Yeah, it is very Shakespearean. Sean Phillips is amazing in it, and obviously you've got John Hurt, Derek Jacobi. It's very, very good.
You love Derek Jacobi, and he is still going strong.
Yeah, amazing.
We sneaked that one in towards the end. So we're going to be back on Sunday because on Sunday we're going to be no more Band of Brothers, sadly. I know, but we are going to be covering an absolutely fantastic show, which I'm going to play us out on. I just want to thank all my panel for coming on. I want to thank everybody in the chat for making invaluable contributions, as well as the new people who have appeared. There's a couple of new people that have come on. That's always good. Always good to see new people. Keep spreading the word, spreading the love for the channel, and we'll see you all again real soon.